Good morning, folks. So, let's talk a little serious here. Um, I'm sure y'all saw the video where I had an individual over here by the name of Mr. Howard helping me with my shed roof. Now, I want to be clear on how I'm going to present this because honestly, um, it bothers me, right? It bothers me because I thought that we were friends. And the last couple of weeks, I have been reconsidering that relationship, right? Because of a couple of things that happened. Um, so we're in the middle of tearing down the awning. We get the awning down, and I'm moving the metal awning to my pickup truck, right? Because that's all I was planning on doing was tearing the awning down. I wasn't planning on doing anything to the shed, right? I wanted to get the awning down. I wanted to get the trash picked up, and that's all I was going to do. Well, I come back in the backyard, and he has pulled the shingles off the roof of the shed. And I said, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Well, I'm pulling the shingles off the shed because you need to cut this edge off to replace it." And I'm like, "But I wasn't planning on doing that." And he's like, "Well, we're going to do that." And I'm like, "Okay." So he gets about a foot and a half up on the shed roof, removing the shingles. And he takes the tar paper off, right? He cuts the tar paper. And he says, "Okay, so we got to cut this." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "And we're going to cut the post for the awning to a certain, percentage so that we have like a 10% drop." And so we get into a discussion about how I'm planning on laying the metal roofing. I'm talking about I want to put in two new posts so that there's four posts instead of three, right? And take out the center post because it's got holes in it. And I want a double box each post. But by that, I mean you have the post coming up, and then you put a 2x4 on either side going all the way up to the shed, right? And then I'm going to run joist in between all those 2x4s, right? So that it's supported that way. And then I want to take a quarter-inch piece of plywood and put that on top of the 2x4 so it gives stability to the roof before we put the metal sheeting on. And I want the metal sheeting to run this way. And he's like, "No, it needs to run this way." And I'm like, "No," because that's the problem I have with the chicken coop is I have to constantly go out there and sweep the chicken roof off because even though it's angled to run down, right, according to the slope of my land, um, I put the sheeting this way. Or no, I put the sheeting this way, and when it rains, the rain just builds on top of the shed, right? It builds on top of the chicken coop. Even though I've got it slanted, it won't run off, right? Because it needs to run off this way. And he's like, "Well, you're just being stubborn." I'm like, "Okay, whatever," right? I says, "I think I got a piece of this OSB in the shed, up on the roof of the shed." And so we get there and we're looking at it, and I'm like, I can get up on my ladder. I have a little collapsible ladder that I have. I can get up on my ladder and I can just push it off. and take it out that way. And he brings in his big fiberglass ladder and he's messing with it and he's messing with it. And then he wanders off. And I'm like, okay, he probably went for a cigarette. And so I move his ladder out of the way and I pull the OSB board down by myself, right? And I drag it over to the side of where the shed's at. And it's at this point that I run in to use the bathroom and I come back out and all his stuff is gone. And I'm like, so I go out, look out the front door. His pickup truck's in the driveway. He's loaded all his stuff back on his pickup truck. And he tells me, well, you're just a stubborn, stupid bitch. And he didn't say it in a nice way. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you're all pissed off and I'm not coming back until you get unpissed off. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Right? What the hell are you talking about? And he gets in his pickup truck and he leaves. So, his opinion of me is that I am a stubborn, stupid bitch. Because I want to do things the right way. Because I've learned from building the chicken coop how the slope of the land and the water runs off. Maybe I scared him because I took out that OSB board by myself. I don't know. I don't know. So, pursuant to that, I talked to a guy I know in the port, and I told him what was going on, and he came out with one of his friends. They took a look at the shed. They took a look at how my other neighbor had come over and helped me like recover the shed and nail down the new OSB board that I cut, right? And the next week, his friend came with his brother, and they I paid them for the shingles. They reshingled that entire side of the roof of the shed. Now I haven't been able to do anything else with the shed because every weekend it's been raining. It's even raining on and off now, and Lord have mercy, my yard needs to be cut so bad, right? But I can't cut it when it's wet, right? It would just gum up the lawnmower. So after all that, I had all the trash from the old tar paper and the old shingles I had to get rid of. So I did that last weekend, right? And I also had, because I'm planning on eventually selling this place. This is not my forever home. I bought this place to be close to my parents, and they both, God rest their souls, have passed away. So this area is not the area I wanted to live in. It's convenient for me because my job is here, but honestly, I'm not attached to this area, right? Yes, I have family in the area, but part of being a truck driver, and man, my hair's a mess, and yeah, anyway, and being autistic is especially being a truck driver. You don't even have to be autistic to go through this, but being a truck driver, after a couple years, you stop being invited to family gatherings, you stop being invited to birthday parties, games, you because you're always on the road and you can't be there anyway, so people just stop inviting you after a certain amount of time. Um, and that happens also when you're autistic. That is really bothering me. Oh, yeah. Oh, so last weekend I had all that trash to clean up, which I got all the tar paper and all the shingles moved, and boy, that was a mess, right? And all the OSB board that we cut and replaced, and the flooring that I had to cut out and replace, all that trash had to go. So I did all that last weekend, and I also had the foundation company come out because, like I said, I plan on selling this place at some point. And one of the things that I've noticed is, and I'll turn you around here so you can see. You see a crack? That's a foundation issue. So this whole side of my house to the left, right? This whole side of my house is sinking faster than the right side. So it's causing problems with being able to close doors and so the house has to be leveled off. And last year I had a water pipe break, right? Because it got really cold and I forgot to cover up the faucet outside, and so the water pipe broke. So I had to have a plumber come out, replace it with PEC, right, with PEC lines. Um, but all that fiberglass that's under there, yeah, got soaking wet. Okay, so all that's got to be pulled. Now, I'm a pretty brave individual most days, but I'm not crawling underneath the house. Uh, no, not doing it. Okay. So the foundation company come out, one of them. I've got another one scheduled for the 14th, which is, I believe, next Saturday, to come out and give me a second estimate. But the first foundation company, their first estimate was like 38,000 and something, and they're not talking about replacing the insulation underneath the house. They're just talking about removing it, putting jacks, leveling, doing the foundation issues, leveling off the house. Probably going to what they call cisterning. That's taking another board up against the joist board that's there to give it extra strength, especially where you put the jacks, because you want extra strength in that area because now that's going to become a load bearing area. So you want that extra strength, right? I get that, right? So that's all they're going to do. They're not going to replace the insulation. So I find that okay. No, that's probably not good because then you're going to lose all your heat through the floor, right? And they're not going to encapsulate that. They're not going to encapsulate it or anything, right, for that price. So I've got a second foundation company coming out to take a look at it and see what they say, right? In the meantime, I've been on and off the phone and on and off the internet, uh, doing a home equity loan. And it's just bizarro, right? I get that the economy's bad. I get that people don't have money. I get it, right? But uh my debt to income is only like 22%. Okay. I have a pretty low debt to income ratio. Um, and I've worked really hard to get it to that point, right? So I'm still dealing with the finance company on the home equity loan. As far as I know, I'm approved, but you know, they keep coming up to sign more documents and sign more documents, right? And they're doing their thing and making sure they're on the insurance and making sure that I'm employed and all that. I get that, right? I do get that. Okay, because I'm not going to loan money to somebody who is going to be able to pay me back. I do get that. But it's a headache, right? It's an absolute headache. So I really can't do anything about the foundation until I have money in hand, right? And once I get money in hand, then I can fix the foundation. And that is the only reason, absolutely, the only reason I'm taking out a home equity loan is to fix the foundation. And if I have any left over, I've got other things around the house I want to get fixed, right? Like the fencing and uh, outside faucet that I can't use because it leaks, right? So things of this nature I want to get fixed. Maybe new gutters put on, right? Because they do need to be updated. So uh, that's where I'm at. But the last 2 weeks, I have really, really been bothered about the fact that, this guy I've had over at my house, I've given him beer, I've given him cigarettes, I've paid him every time he's come over to work for me. I've paid him, you know, relatively well. If I had a lawn company come out here, they would have made $60 to $100 to do the entire lawn, and I'm paying him $100 a day, right? Just to do little stuff around the house, okay? Because I figured, you know, I'm helping him out, right? He's poor. He needs it more. He needs money. He's told me he's in financial trouble. Blah blah blah. Right. Uh. So yeah, I'm kind of bothered by this. I really am because now I question the fact that was he ever my friend or was he just using me to get money? And yeah, it's caused me to really go through every interaction I've ever had with him, right? And what's your thoughts? Bicycle.